measure of architecture, the painter-philosopher comes up against a number of paradoxes. First, that to represent the world as it is necessary to paint the world as one sees it. In his false perspective of the back wall, Piero shows volumes in an ideal perspective. Their sides are parallel. This reminder of Euclidean geometry contrasts with the painting's organization. According to the new vision, volumes can no longer be designed thus. They must be drawn by making their parallels converge toward a rational point, the vanishing point, giving a one-point perspective. According to a daring thesis, that could give a second meaning to the phrase that accompanied the painting, convenerunt in unum. The lines converge into a single point. At the beginning of architecture, there was the line. At the beginning of the line, there was the number. Referring to Piero, people spoke of a mystique of measurement. Everything that Piero drew seemed the result of a combination of numbers, but numbers also have their point of irreducibility. In the 15th century, philosophers seized on irrational numbers and speculated on the principles as well as the word. The bearded man is telling the story of Christ and belongs to our world. The story he is telling is depicted in the loggia as the manifestation of his words, an image within an image, which would belong to another time and would thus be illusory. This is the universe that Piero painted. The space of the loggia is rational and concrete, whereas the exterior lacks reference points. The people in the foreground, in effect, are at the end of the diagonal of the square and are in a space that, literally speaking, is irrational. Our own world is itself illusion, the dream of another story that took place in some ancient time that repeats itself into infinity from generation to generation. Thus, Piero constructed his entire painting on this fundamental sense of vertigo. From having read Aristotle, he knew the story of Hippasus of Metapontum, the Greek disciple of Pythagoras who had discovered the property of irrational numbers. Legend has it that, frightened by this manifestation of infinity, Hippasus threw himself into the sea, this other manifestation of infinity. Piero was a contemporary of Christopher Columbus. He belonged to this generation of men who claimed to confront infinity, whether it be oceanic or mathematic. All learning is brought together in a painting manifesto that translates passages from a finite world to an infinite universe. The picture itself would be this point of condensation, where dizzying infinity is described, contemplated, and in the end, subdued.
La cultura está en tu casa con Osvaldo Pugliese en tango. Y al finalizar, la presencia del poeta Jaime Sabines en personajes y escenarios.